Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Now quite a lot of my viewers over the years don't really understand why I rate and value Surfer as much as a champion, and I keep telling them I use him for map 8 all the time, and that is going to be exactly what this video about. I figured I'm going to record, a standard typical map 8 run that I do, and well, here is the result. So I'm going to be bringing in Galleon that I'm going to use for like a couple fights, and like Hercules that I'm going to use for one mini boss. And the rest of the fights in section 1, 2, and 3 are all going to be done with Silver Surfer. First things first, Silver Surfer actually benefits quite greatly from this broken measures node. He's great without it. I used Silver Surfer for map 8 for ages before these even were a thing, but that one definitely helps him quite a bit. So I'm on the far right path in section 1, and the main condition of this path is that you need 3 debuffs on the opponent in order to be able to do damage. And obviously when it comes to Silver Surfer, getting 3 debuffs is extremely easy, and you pretty much maintain it the entire fight. Here somehow though, he pretty much immediately purified one of my armor breaks, but Resonate kind of made up for it. And it's fine, even if it would be purified the first time around, you just reapply it and you get your 3 debuffs back. Here I go for a nice level 2, and then I'm still unblockable because I had enough buffs active on me. And well, yeah, I probably should have just thrown my level 1 there at that point, and that would have done enough damage, but I played it patient for the last 3%. This fight could have been significantly faster. This, I believe, is day 3 or 4. It was about 40 seconds for map 8 fight, not too bad, not great, I'd say. Next up, we're going to be going up against Hulkbuster. I will obviously be making some mistakes here and there as well, because, that's standard AQ, you don't necessarily focus to the full extent, and, stuff happens anyways. So the initial goal of these fights is to get them in the corner in order to be able to get those prowess buffs, in order to reduce the duration of Unstoppable. Again, I did this before the prowess node was even a thing on the harder version there, but it's fine. Here I got smacked a little bit, but we're actually going to recover a decent amount of health because Surfer doesn't take any shock damage, and obviously armor breaks another debuff. That is just going to help me heal up even more. And nice heavy attack. Here I should have just used my level 3 and that would have been a fight over, without letting him throw that level 2, so I took a bit of unnecessary block damage. But again, 38 seconds, perfectly fine, reasonable for this initial path, right? Next, we're going to have Venom Pool, probably the easiest fight on this first section. And again, it's going to be a very, very straightforward match there for Surfer. I'm just going to tap him, knock him, smack him, get him in the corner, and as soon as I do, we're building up some more prowess buffs. Life's good. He's barely going to be unstoppable here now. And we are going here for a heavy attack. I activate my level 2, and that Venom Pool is pretty much dead immediately from that single level 2. And that means that this fight was... I actually didn't see. How long was this fight? 23 seconds. 23 seconds. And that's not bad. I like it. I like it a lot. And the cool thing about Surfer, obviously in map 8, the parts that I do is that I can use him for every single lane, because in section 2 and section 3, the main nodes are buffed up, and Surfer gains his buffs extremely quickly, extremely easily, and therefore he basically plays like there's pretty much no nodes at all. So now again, just going for a level 2 here. That's a nice crit there. I probably should have just smacked him as he was trying to stand up, but that's fine. Another fight that is going to last 24 seconds. Not bad. So here I'm going to have a couple of Galleon fights. I don't, that's not the point of the showcase. Just doing Galleon-y things, ramping up with level 1s, as you always do. And I think, I will get extremely lucky in this one, I remember. Because, we do need to watch the finish of this one. So this is, also a decent fight, I suppose, where to ramp up Galleon, because I like using Galleon for that HitMonkey as well. And here I just went for it, hoping I'm going to kill him with a combo and a level 1, and I don't. And I get super lucky because he's at 3 bars of power now, and he didn't throw that special attack. So sometimes all the AI shenanigans and AI refusing to throw special attack forever can work in your favor if we're talking about special 3 sometimes. Okay, that's fine. Next up, HitMonkey, and I'm just using Galleon for this as well. It has that stupid annoying node, one of the most annoying nodes in the entire game. Flux Dispersal, I think it's called, or something, where every time you hit him, he gains like a 5% protection or damage reduction, and then you need to knock him down with heavy attacks. And obviously against HitMonkey, it's just super annoying. So I hate that node, but it's fine, whatever. Then go for a heavy attack, activating his special. I'm gonna throw my level 2, and it's just about not gonna kill him. 1%. What a little. And here he catches me with that 1%. That's always like the law. 1% and stuff happens. And here, this fight's going to be exceedingly long as well. I'm not going to show it. I'm going to use Herc, obviously, for the King Groot boss. I think he can probably do it with Silver Surfer as well. Could try and do that in one of the next times, but, kind of brought in Herc for that. And this fight's also kind of funny. So I obviously eat the level 1 at some point on purpose to get that permanent armor break on me. Just a little trick if you guys didn't know. Whenever you fight a big King Groot, eat one hit from his level 1, the final hit from his level 1, whilst he has Furies active, and you basically get infinite healing. So this is always a nice way to heal up your champions and stuff like that as well. Use this in, plenty of game modes and plenty of scenarios. Other than that, as you can see, the fight's going pretty much perfect, right? Everything's fine, everything's good. King Groot's going down solid. And I think here is going to be the point where, yep, everything's fine this entire time for 2 minutes plus. He's at 20%. And here the level 2 catches me. My entire health pool is gone. I said 100% health. And then you just eat level 2. I mean, I still finished the fight, and I don't really need Hercules for anything, and he's Hercules, so that's not a big deal, but just kind of funny. You play for 2 minutes pretty much perfectly, and then one level 2, and poof. Anyway, so this is already next morning. We're going to be using Silver Surfer again for pretty much everything that I'm going to do. No, well, virtually every single fight in Section 2 as well. And because I did a fight with Galleon, I did 2. I figured I might as well give him the Seed of Herald, even though he doesn't really need it. But here the plan's pretty much the same. So the nodes here are buffed up, so I need to have at least 3 buffs on me, and I believe they need to have at least 3 buffs on them for me to do damage. And here it's kind of like super easy. Obviously, Venom can be annoying at times, refusing to throw his special attack, but other than that, there isn't anything too dangerous. Still trying to manage the node the best I can to make sure he doesn't gain too many Furies and all that other stuff. So here I'm just going to go in for a heavy attack, very easy heavy knockdown. And, getting the combat power rate increase. Sweet, going for level 2. Have all my armor breaks, have the double Furies. Barely survives, fine, and then I just finish it out with another combo. So this fight was like 47 seconds. Next up against Colossus. I actually think out of all the champions, Colossus is going to be one of the ones that's going to catch me a bit. But, it happens. Now against Colossus, there is an obvious, downside to the fight, because my armor breaks will actually do nothing but give him more armor ups, but it's fine, because we have plenty of damage, and Colossus is easy to fight anyway. So, yes, I'm losing some damage out in this fight, but, not end of the world. And here we are. Got 2 of my Furies active. Because I cannot armor break him, I also do not get that passive power gain. So I probably should have went with the level 1 rotation, which is fine. And now I'm just going to go for my level 2 here. Sweet. Just in time to take off that Fury as well. And yeah, even though I'm not getting my armor breaks, obviously Silver Surfer is still doing plenty of damage. I think a lot of people are criminally underestimating Silver Surfer's damage. And here a nice heavy. So I'm gonna go in for Striker. Nope, I'm just going in for level 2 to finish off this fight. And I didn't, because he still has 1%. This is like which second or third time an opponent is left at like 1% in this single run. Whatever, that's fine. And this fight's actually kind of tricky. I wouldn't normally recommend doing this fight necessarily with Silver Surfer, because number 1, his level 1 cannot miss. So you need to be aware that you can't do the whole, I'm just gonna, charge my heavy attack from distance thing. Number 2, he also gains vigilance, so then he cannot miss at all, which, sucks. Whatever. So I chose to go for a level 1 here. I still probably should have started with a heavy attack though. I would already have that buff active. And here I'm going to make a few mistakes as well because I'm going to be hitting him whilst he doesn't have enough buffs active. I like the fact that I keep armor breaking him. I actually do like that in this fight, even though like here my level 2 got completely wasted. Because then he gets his power gain slower and less often. And sometimes when you fight Super Scroll, it's just so frustrating when he doesn't want to throw his level 1 and the power gain just, it's quite potent, more potent than I think a lot of people realize. Here I didn't plan on connecting my heavy. I didn't think he's going to run in, but I was ready to tap a striker for it. But that was a bit risky what I did just there. And now I just basically need to go in and finish this fight now. He has 3 buffs, but I kind of armor break all of them. I just needed to activate my level 2 and that fight would have been over. But I just had to, armor break his stuff. Fine, whatever. So this fight was a bit longer. Not perfect matchup for Silver Surfer. Still does it. Fine. Next up, we're going to do one of these joint fights, which is Red Hulk. And here we have aspect of evolution and power alternator. And, it's nothing too crazy. Silver Surfer is just going to do fine as well. Still at 74% health, which isn't too bad overall. I think in this fight and in next fight, I'm going to lose a bit of health as well against Mantis. That'll be primarily like block damage. Here it's fine. Charge my heavy attack, go for level 2, do a ton of damage. And that Red Hulk is going down quite rapid, if you ask me. Knock him down there with a heavy attack to get rid of one of those passive furies. Activate a level 2 of my own before power alternator triggers, and then I refresh my fury buffs. Now he's at 17%. And for this being, somewhat of a finicky fight, I suppose, Silver Surfer did absolutely fantastic as well. Next match, we are going up against Mantis. And again, all of these fights, Silver Surfer, noodle damage, right? But he's just absolutely plowing through this. Alright, so here I messed up at the beginning and I took a combo to the face, which, isn't great. It's not the fault of Silver Surfer though. I just, took a combo to the face at the beginning. And now I'm going to go here for a level 1 to get both of my fury buffs at the same time. And now the entire point is just to try and push Mantis to level 2s ideally if I can, in order not to worry too much about the Tranquilize. Activate my level 2 here. She's already at like 25%. I do bait out that heavy attack. Sweet, she's at level 2 again. Knock her down, refresh my buffs, bait out level 2, and she's dead. So aside from the dodgy start, this went perfectly fine and acceptable. Now I'm going to do the first fight against Groot. And this is still the same nodes where Groot has to have 3 buffs and I have to have 3 buffs in order to be able to do damage. But against these champions, it at times is harder to achieve because Groot sometimes doesn't want to trigger his, buffs and does so at the worst times possible. So it can get frustrating. In this fight, it can get frustrating against Silver Surfer, where sometimes Silver Surfer doesn't want to throw his special one, and if the AI doesn't work with you, that fight is an absolute nightmare. And then the Venom pull fight on this lane, it's just a bit slower because you need to wait until Venom pull gains 3 buffs. So here we can see I dropped the level 2 basically completely wasted, dealing no damage. But even with that, this fight was still like 40 seconds, and it's fast, and it's easy. And now just to finish off it, much later in the day, I'm still going to be using Silver Surfer for all of my fights here. And obviously against Odin, the little annoying thing here is that one of Odin's buffs is an armor buff. So if you armor break him at the beginning without knocking him down, he actually doesn't have 3 buffs active anymore. So you do need to knock him down in order to be able to start doing damage. And then when he obviously activates his like level 1 or level 2, he gains new buffs, which is fine. But yeah, you just, get rid of one of his buffs in the beginning and then it can kind of get annoying. So here I actually push myself into level 3, which is not ideal. I don't need or use level 3 in most of the fights, but that was the passive power gain there. Which is, not ideal, but it's fine, whatever. Level 3 is still gonna do solid enough damage. And we're gonna see that Odin's gonna get absolutely wrecked after that as well, because of the level 3 we get extra aptitude, and our fury buffs kind of like get reapplied, so they are significantly more potent. Then I used my heavy phase to phase through Odin's level 2, which was kind of cheeky and cool, and I liked it. And then obviously level 2 to finish it off. Next up, we have this Venom pull once again. And yeah, here the only thing is just wait until the Venom pull has 3 buffs on him before I can start doing damage. So I'm not in a rush. I activate my heavy attack here. As you guys noticed, sometimes I do go for the level 1 into Fury rotation, and sometimes I just heavy attack by gaining the Fury buff and, get my Furies one by one. So it kind of depends on the matchup, kind of depends on how I feel like doing it. I don't think there's a major difference whether you activate heavy attack at the very beginning of the fight and then go for level 1 and level 2, or you just ramp yourself up with heavy attacks and go straight for level 2. As we can see, that Venom just absolutely melted yet again. Silver Surfer, again, putting up decent numbers without a doubt, and finishing up all these fights very, very fast. Like 40 seconds, kind of like standard. You can do some of the fights in like 20, 25 seconds, but he definitely doesn't take long. And now against Silver Surfer, this fight's actually annoying to do in a mirror match, because oftentimes the buffs that he will activate are going to be armor up buffs, and you have to armor break them. And it kind of slows the fight down. I don't mind using my Silver Surfer against the opponent's Silver Surfer. What I do mind is the requirement of him having 3 buffs here can get, a bit dicey, because I kind of have to keep armor breaking him when I don't want to at times. You can still manage, it's fine. Going for level 2 here. Again, unfortunately, that cruelty buff expired a bit too quick. Still putting in work. He's activating his level 1 there. That's fine. He gets 2 armor ups again. That 2 buffs that I didn't really want him to have, but it's fine. Whatever. Still doing damage. We're still actually willpower healing. So we have used Silver Surfer for how many fights now? And he's still perfectly healthy, viable, and active. And here I charge my heavy attack, go for level 2 of my own, and the Silver Surfer is dead. And we actually healed up a bit in this fight. And now that unfortunately is it, because I missed the end here for, the bosses and mini bosses, but Silver Surfer still does perfectly fine and acceptable there as well. So, anyhow, I do hope that this shows that Silver Surfer could be better than you think, and definitely is extremely viable for map 8. Actually, probably my favorite map 8 champion. Anyways, let me know what you guys think, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information